In the ancient world, under the heavy hand of the Roman Empire, one man's name was synonymous with betrayal and greed, a tax collector, despised by his own people, who profited from their hardship. His name was Levi, but history would remember him as Matthew, an apostle of Christ, whose story of redemption would echo through millennia. This is the tale of his incredible transformation, from a social outcast to a pillar of faith, a journey that cost him everything, yet gained him eternity. Imagine the bustling streets of Capernaum, a town teeming with fishermen, merchants, and Roman soldiers. Here, in the shadow of the empire, sat Levi at his tax booth. For his fellow Jews, he was a traitor, collecting Roman taxes and enriching himself in the process. He was a man isolated by his wealth, living in a world of numbers and coins, far from the community and faith of his ancestors. He had security, but his soul was in poverty. He represented a life dedicated to worldly gain, a stark contrast to the spiritual hunger that filled the very air he breathed. Then, one day, a figure approached his booth. It was not a merchant or a soldier, but a teacher from Nazareth whose words were stirring the hearts of thousands. This man was Jesus. He walked past the crowds, past the righteous and the respected, and stopped before the tax collector. The onlookers must have held their breath. Jesus looked at Levi, and with just 2 words, changed the course of history. "Follow me." In that moment, something shifted within Levi. He saw in Jesus' eyes not condemnation, but an invitation, an offer of grace so profound it defied all logic. Without hesitation, Levi stood up. He left behind his table, his coins, his entire former life. This act was more than just a career change. It was a radical repentance, a complete turning of his soul. To celebrate this newfound beginning, he threw a great feast at his house, inviting Jesus and his disciples, along with a crowd of other tax collectors and sinners. The religious leaders were scandalized. Why would this holy man eat with such people? Jesus' reply became a cornerstone of his message. It is not the healthy who need a doctor, but the sick. I have not come to call the righteous, but sinners to repentance. Levi, now called Matthew, was the living embodiment of that truth. Matthew's life as one of the 12 apostles was a continuous journey of learning and transformation. He, who once documented financial debts, now meticulously recorded the teachings and miracles of his master. He walked alongside Jesus, witnessing the blind see, the lame walk, and hearing parables that unlocked the secrets of the kingdom of heaven. His background, once a source of shame, became his unique strength. His organized mind, once used for ledgers and accounts, was now dedicated to preserving the most important story ever told. Tradition holds that Matthew was the author of the first gospel, a detailed, orderly account of Jesus' life and ministry, written to convince his fellow Jews that Jesus was the long-awaited Messiah. After Jesus' ascension into heaven, the apostles were commissioned to take his message to the ends of the earth. Matthew's mission field, according to early church historians, was vast and challenging. Animated maps would show his journeys from Judea, traveling east into the lands of Persia and south into the kingdom of Ethiopia. He ventured into foreign cultures, facing unknown dangers, all fueled by an unwavering devotion to the one who had called him out of darkness. He preached the gospel of forgiveness and redemption, the very same grace that had transformed his own life. His message was simple yet powerful. No one is beyond saving. His faith was tested at every turn. He faced resistance from local rulers and priests who saw his message as a threat to their power and traditions. In Ethiopia, he encountered a kingdom steeped in its own ancient beliefs. Yet, Matthew's courage never wavered. He established churches and converted many, his life a testament to the power of the Spirit working through a willing vessel. He faced down threats, not with a sword, but with the unshakable conviction that his life was in God's hands. He had already given up the world once. He had nothing left to lose and everything eternal to gain. The final chapter of Matthew's earthly story is one of ultimate sacrifice. While the exact details are varied in historical accounts, the consistent theme is that he met his end as a martyr. One prominent tradition tells us that in Ethiopia, he was condemned for challenging the king's authority by preaching against idolatry and immorality. He was arrested, tried, and sentenced to death. While we will not depict the graphic nature of his end, we honor his courage. He faced his execution not with fear, but with the peaceful assurance of a man going home. He had followed his master in life, and now he would follow him in death, sealing his testimony with his own blood. Matthew's martyrdom was not an end, but a beginning. His sacrifice became a seed for the church in Africa and beyond. His gospel, the Gospel of Matthew, became a foundational text of Christianity, shaping the faith of billions for 2,000 years. From the Sermon on the Mount to the Great Commission, his meticulous record ensures that the words of Jesus Christ continue to challenge and transform lives today. The tax collector from Capernaum became a saint, a martyr, and an evangelist whose legacy is eternal. His story is a powerful reminder that with God, no past is too broken for redemption, no heart is too hard to be softened, and no life is too insignificant to change the world. Thank you for joining us on this journey. If you were inspired by Matthew's story, please like this video and subscribe for more stories of faith that changed history.